You're just a guy walking down the street that people cross the street so that they're not near you. And friendships are so much harder to build. Because this shit is lonely. Try to think about how you can do little conversations to help their emotional maturity so that they can reach out to people and have deeper guy friendships.
Ugh, see, you have to f it up. Yo, your whole invitation rescinded. Ugh. All right, today's topic looks like someone who's trans became born a female, became a man, and they're having some regrets.
Nobody told me how lonely being a man is. I had closer friendships with random women I met in the bathroom before I transitioned at clubs because of how open women are.
Yeah, when you go to the washroom, you shut the f up. Everybody to the stalls. You don't talk. You get in there, you shut up. You go about your business.
Exactly. I ain't trying to talk to the dude beside me when he got his dick out. What
I'm
the
not
fuck
trying
is
to make
wrong
friends.
with you? Just because we not in a stall don't mean that when I'm using the fucking urinal, you're supposed to make eye contact or say some shit to me. Hey, what's up, my? Hey, don't talk to me. I got my dick out, and you got your dick out, and it's in your hand. Don't talk to me.
Oh yeah, because the minute both people got their dick out, it's gay.
Yeah, when you peeing and you just be like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Huh? Huh? Eyes straight. I don't even want to see you be like, yo, is it big? No, don't do that. Don't. Eyes straight. This man out here crying because he can't talk to other dudes at the urinal. I think you chose the wrong gender, my friend. You're not ready for this life.
You can't talk to the we don't talk. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
there should be a space between y'all.
There should be a wall.
If
Trump build it.
If there's urinals,
Forget the Mexicans.
if there's urinals,
Keep the men out.
you go pee. You see someone peeing there, you don't go next to him.
I'm Canadian. I'll vote for Trump for that.
You go next.
I want that wall.
You leave a space.
We out here having dick hands, and you want to talk to me.
I want to hear the blow dry and men's pooping in the back.
I don't want to
That's
hear
it.
what?
They gotta do their business,
No,
but
I don't want to
nobody's
hear no problem caca, mon cher.
nobody's
No problem caca.
nobody's talking.
No.
Shut up.
I've had in my 8 years of transitioning, because women are just so much more vulnerable and deep than men.
We deep is just a different kind of deep. It's just not deep in the same way. And I wouldn't call necessarily women deep or man deep. It's just different. I wouldn't call the conversation that the girls have in the washroom deep. Sorry. Not gonna do that. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. That's not deep.
And I think a lot of trans men feel this, is we knew what depth felt like before we transitioned. We knew what it felt like to have people want to hug us. And to have people want to talk to us. And to have a community. And then you transition and you're just a guy walking down the street that people cross the street so that they're not near you.
Every time I see these videos, I just have to laugh. 'Cause
Why?
It's just like, it's like women who become men, and then afterwards, it's just like, oh my god,
The loneliness.
This shit's hard. It's like, yeah, man's privilege, man's privilege. A woman becomes a man's like, yo, this shit sucks.
This shit sucks sometimes.
I think there is a difference between men's relationships with other men and women's relationships with other women. And I think most people who've had relationships in both sexes understand there's differences. My experience having fostered relationships with men, it just takes longer and it takes more investment before a lot of that vulnerability sets in. And you've been a man now, according to your own words, for 8 years. Very likely that you may have not fostered these traditional male relationships where you get to get that sense of deep vulnerability. And it doesn't always manifest itself in the same way, but it doesn't mean it's not always powerful or meaningful or things like that. I can assure you in my life, in the men I've known, there's been moments of very intense vulnerability, and it's been, things that are welcomed and they're fine. If you want to be a man, and then also, I know for me, I prefer my male relationships and friendships to my female relationships, friendships. But not everyone's going to jive with the same thing. So I can actually understand why he is suffering and why he has this issue. If he's looking for that kind of relationship as a now man or presenting as a man, it's hard for him to have that.
It's not the same. It's just like whenever.
No.
It's just like whenever I talk to some of my girlfriends and the lesbian ones, and they're like, "Yeah, I can mac a girl the same way." No, you can't. You're a girl.
Yeah.
It's a whole different universe. You do not mac. It's not because we're after the same thing that the result or the experience is the same. Yeah, if I go to a girl, man, she got her guard up. If you go, it's a different thing.
And friendships are so much harder to build. and people are colder. What's hard is none of this invalidates how real and raw women and people who are in marginalized groups feel about cis white men. All of that's valid. But I also now understand why the suicide rate is so much higher in men. Because this shit is lonely. And I'm an emotionally mature man.
Bring it in, brother. One of us. One of us. It seems like you've really transitioned. Welcome to the club, brother. Now you know how tough it is. Man, we had before. It wasn't the test. It wasn't the blockers. It was once you hit that. Oh, shit. They look at me and see a threat. Oh, now you a man. When you walk by a park and a mom hides her kids. Oh, now you a man. Yeah, welcome to that man life.
Good.
Nothing reminds me more of the fact that I'm a man than when I don't have my period. Thank you, Jesus. And when I walk down the street and it's late and there's a woman in front of me and I can see she's scared. I ain't trying to do nothing, but I already know. I'm a man. Yeah. Welcome. Welcome to the club. Just want to welcome you.
Oh, what do you mean? I can't go to the park alone where there's kids and women playing with their kids?
Yo.
No, that's weird. That's weird.
Yo.
I can't just...
I didn't believe in trans stuff before, but now I do. He really transitioned. Yeah, he really one of us. Yeah. You one of us. Now you even thinking about self-deletion. Welcome to the club.
Like, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it be like that.
You not getting in the club for free?
It be like that. Yeah,
You paying on the first day?
You pay on the first day.
Come on now.
Don't come in this.
When you download apps, you making the first move.
Yeah.
You look dangerous to everybody. Yeah. You want to work in a daycare? Hell no. Welcome to one of us. No.
My girl caught me slipping. Yeah, it's a game that we play. Let's say she says, I want to watch a movie. And I'm like, you're going to sleep during that movie. And she's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, okay. And we watch the movie. And she sleeps in the movie. What I do is I film her and I show her later. And I'm like, ha! Got you slipping. But this time she caught me. We were coming back from a trip and I told her, yeah, I'm going to eat and drink in the plane. And she says, no, you're not. You're going to sleep. You're tired. Went inside the plane. And despite the fact that it was a couple arguing in the back of us and a baby couple of rows down crying, I couldn't hear them. You know why? I was wearing those. The Raycon earbuds. And sometimes in the plane it's super uncomfortable because it's too hot. And then what you think happened? Water resistant, so everything was comfortable. They got, sizable gels that you can put, and then it fits right in your ear. The quality of sound of those, immaculate. They have a bass sound that is different modes on top of that. Click on the link below and get 15% off your earbuds.
Go to the link in the description below or go to buyraycon.com/ABBA to get 15% off on us.
I know how to build friendships, and it is still really, really hard. Try to think about how you can, in your small little community where you feel safe, can reach out to the men in your life and just help them feel maybe seen for a moment. Or do little conversations to help their emotional maturity so that they can reach out to people and have deeper guy friends.
Ugh, see, you have to fuck it up. Yo, your whole fucking invitation rescinded. Ugh. We don't need women to talk to us to help their emotional maturity. Listen, having female friendships did not all of a sudden just raise my emotional maturity.
Alleviates everything.
Yeah, it's so condescending whenever I hear fucking people. It's women who are the one who do this all the time. You need some female friends so they can elevate your. Yo, shut the fuck up. When you hear men ever say women need to have male friends to elevate anything?
My God.
That shit is so condescending, and this is the shit I don't like because all they ever do, this issue. All they ever do when they talk about men's relationship with other men is speak negatively about it. They do never speak about it positively. And the reason why it annoys the shit out of me is I know how positive those relationships are and how irreplaceable they are. Now, I don't shit on women having friendship with women. I think it's great. Okay? I think it's great. I think it offers things and you should have it if you can. Okay? But I don't know why men's relationship with other men is always seen as lacking or trash or whatever it is. It just takes more effort to foster, and it's just a different kind of reward.
I'm not even going to say that it takes more time to foster. I'm going to say that it's really just different because, I got both. I got male friends and I got female friends. It's not inherently just more difficult to foster male. It's just really different, all right? I'm not going to, no.
I'll say that.
And I'm not. right? And I have female friends, and it does not alleviate. It's just a different shit. Can you understand women's perspective a little bit better? Sure, but it does not necessarily alleviate what you're living.
I'll say that, and I'll tell you why it's easier to faster. Women invest more time in their friendships than men do, and women are just more open in general. So it's a lot easier for them to not only make friends, but deepen those bonds because they have more flexibility and they prioritize their friendships more.
He's talking about, yo, make more friends with women, have more women friends. I have both. I'm not saying that a woman are making more friends with themselves. Yeah, women are able to make friends with themselves and everything and stuff. I'm talking about as a man perspective, having friends, man friends, and having women friends. Having women friends, that does not necessarily alleviate anything. What I see, and that's what I live. My live experience, right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna talk about what I live, right?
Sure.
At some point, it can be easier with men because it's not gonna be as much as a fuss if we don't talk. Because they kind of need that thing. They need that energy a little bit more, or that reassurance that you're still here and still friends. It's actually easier for a man because I don't have to. If we don't talk, we don't talk. It's not a thing. I'm not pissed off, so it's gonna be easier with a guy than with a girl.
Yes, but for a friendship to deepen, you have to invest in each other. That just is what it is. So whether we or not we need to talk every time or whatever, that's not the point. Is if you want a relationship to deepen, you have to spend time. You have to actually have conversations.
Sure.
And women are just far more likely to do that than men are. That is statistically true. So because women are making more of an effort, obviously their relationships are going to feel deeper or faster deeper in terms of fostering that friendship there.
Right. They're gonna be able to talk a lot, but they're gonna be able to talk more. But they often talk more about their feelings, right? When you talk about your feelings, it's a different thing. And if you have to say something about them, it can become very much more complicated than if it's a guy. If I have a problem with my guy friend, I'm going like, yo, listen, this and this happened, and they really appreciate that. We're gonna talk it out, and everything's gonna be fine. Oftentimes with a woman, if I'm like opened, and I'm like, yo, this and that happened, this that, what I said turns into how she felt about what I said, and no longer about what I said. So in that sense, it's going to be very hard. It's going to become very hard. Where on the male counterpart, it's often this and that and the third happened. That's how I feel. Oh, that's how you feel? Well, I don't feel. And there's going to be a discussion about what happened. Whereas on a woman's side, you're going to have a discussion, and it's going to be about how she feels about what you said. Oftentimes. Okay. So that can be very difficult when you try to deepen a conversation or how you feel about certain things. Even not only necessarily if there's something that happens with that person, or just talking about different stuff in general. You want to talk about a subject, and it turns into how that person feels around that subject. And when you talk to men, oftentimes we talk about the thing. Like, we have to decipher a lot of things before we get to the core of the subject that we're talking about. And that's why I feel sometimes it's easier with men and it's faster with men. But that's just how I see things.
Yeah, sure. I think maybe you find the pathway to being in a friendship with men maybe easier. I think for most dudes, that pathway doesn't even really start, because most dudes report not having any friends or maybe one or two friends at most. Whereas women have a much healthier social life and have better ties to their families as well, because women invest more times in their friends and their family, which I think is a wonderful thing. They're prioritizing the things that matter. Absolutely. Men struggle with that. Okay, or men struggle. Now, when they do foster those relationships, I do think that they're more powerful in my personal experience. But I think women are far more apt at engaging in social lives than men are. Men will spend their days gaming. They'll spend their days doing a lot of other things. But as far as like making time to see their friends or see their family, a lot of the time that'd be a secondary, where women use seats at the top of their priorities. So that's just something I noticed. And it's not just from that, even from work, like men will forego vacations or forego spending time with the family much more likely than women in terms of Christmas or things like that. If it means they can make more money, they prioritize things differently. Maybe that's because of relationship expectations or what kind of pressure society puts on men to be overachievers. But it's clear women are just better at fostering relationships than men are. If you're being honest, most dudes have a hard time making friends. Most dudes have a hard time making friends. I suspect that for those guys, being in a relationship with them is probably also really tough for women, because all of their social interactions just come from the women. I imagine that gotta be kind of weird. That's never been me personally, but I could see that being a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got no friends, and then you start dating a girl, and she's the only friend.
and then her friends become your friends or couple friends. That's the thing. Becomes his friends as well because he ain't got no friends. So whenever there's outings or a couple outings, they go together. So they start to connect. But it's on her side. That does not rarely happen.
So when he starts hanging out with her friends solo?
I mean, no, not really. But the only connection that he has with the outside and other people is at work or the friends of the girlfriend.
Okay.
Then that's still weird. Like it's a one-way thing, you know what I mean? Or people colleagues at work and stuff like that. Anyway.
But yeah, I guess for the trans man becoming a man for him basically meant that he realized that men were lonely, and he wishes that essentially women could help men learn how to foster friendships better. Okay, well I think it begs the question, which I think is a really important one. It's like, why do you think men struggle to make friends? Because maybe his suggestion is not crazy, right? Maybe when he says women need to teach men, maybe there's some truth to it. Let's take a second, let's take a step back before we go, hey, fuck you, which I already did earlier. And let's say there's some, what can women teach men about friendship? Is that something that we can really learn? Is it something biological, social?
Probably.
Okay,
Probably.
go.
I think there's a possibility of there. You know, I'm just being a bit open, being a little bit more available. Like, I learned that having girlfriends, I learned that when they bring up a problem, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. They don't want your solution.
They just want to vent.
They want to vent. The first step, yo, this and that happened. Don't try to be logical with that shit. Don't try to solve the problem. That's not what they're here for. They need to vent. And I think that's a way. It taught me to read a bit more into what people wanted and stuff like that. So same thing that happens with, like, I was able to transfer that into my guy friends and understand what they just need to be listened to, or just not me poking at them to see more information and stuff like that. Just letting the door open. And more time than ever, they don't say shit like my guy friends. They don't open up right away, but they know I'm available and open. We move on to other things, and then they're gonna proceed into eventually later on, when they're ready on their own time, talk to me about whatever the hell going on. But the girl side, when they come to you, oh yo, this and this and this should happen, and this, shut the fuck up. Nah, listen. But there's not much to say at some point, you know what I mean?
I don't think men need to take away women's vulnerability. I don't think they need to take away from them like how women engage in conversation and venting, all that other bullshit. Because I'm not trying to hear that shit. No. A girlfriend, that's already enough. I ain't trying to hear that from everybody else. But I will say this. One thing men need to do, and this is something I tell dudes even in dating, get some fucking hobbies that make you a little bit social, one. And two, men gotta prioritize relationships.
What hobbies? What kind of hobbies?
Well, you can take any kind of hobby, whatever it is that brings you around people that allows you for having social interaction. It doesn't even have to be with the opposite sex. When I say dating, I say dance-related stuff because you're often with the opposite sex. But even hobbies that bring you around other dudes, you know, like for most men, their friendships actually come from their hobbies. When you join a bike group, when you join a gun club, when you join those things, or a golf course, they see their friends. That's how they do it. It's through activities. A lot of men have social activities that are generally anti-social. Or they'll spend all their day gaming, but nothing in person. I'm not saying online relationships aren't nothing, but I'm just saying generally they're not a substitute for a lot of real life relationships. So men don't invest enough in social hobbies. Women do. Go ahead.
You said dancing. That's gay.
True. Or if it's not gay, it's you cucking other people, right? Taking their wives. So when you're not being a homosexual, you're stealing other men's wives. Whatever. Don't explain to me how that's both gay and cucking. Well, it is what it is. All this to say.
Schrodinger's dancer.
I don't know what
gay
the fuck
and cooking other people.
I'm going cuck a bunch of dudes tonight.
Tonight. You gonna cook them?
I'm getting on my bike. I'm gonna just wheel over there, cuck, and then come back.
Shit.
Anyway, okay. If you guys want to see more, it's on my Instagram.
What you doing, Abba? Going out there cooking?
What are you cooking tonight? Your wife.
Going out there cooking.
What's for dinner? We cooking your wife. Anyways, like I said, invest in some hobbies, okay? I've seen too many guys who have zero hobbies. They just have their work life, they go to a bar and they go home.
That's not a hobby.
If your social life is struggling, get some fucking hobbies, bro. Social hobbies too.
Get into martial arts, get into...
Yeah, people's sense of community and friendships come from these things. That's what people are lacking. It's not women coming here to do. It's like dudes got to prioritize these things. You know, they got to make time for their friendships, because then all of a sudden a year goes by, you ain't seen your homies. It's like, yeah, we still homies. That's great. But you got to invest that time. You got to put that effort in. If you guys don't make that time to see each other, those relationships relationships will start to fade. And while you guys are still going to be happy to see each other, you're going to miss on important moments in each other's lives. Times you guys could have been there. Times you could have shared when you were struggling. So that comes with priorities. That's not some, yes, women do that and that's great, but that's not something women can give to us. That's something that we have to take for ourselves. That comes from reevaluating how we view things, valuing our families, seeing our mothers, our sisters, our brothers, whatever it is. So what do I take away from this video? What his experience is, I understand, welcome. But I don't agree with the solution that we have to be more like women per se. I think that men just need to rearrange their priorities for sure.
Sure.
I think that's what I would take away from it the most. Change those hobbies. Anything else?
Nah.
But anyways, let us know what you guys think in the comments. We want to hear from you.